Okay, well, thank you all for joining this quite interesting webinar that I'm going to host with a good friend of ourselves right now, Tjerk, and also Ken is joining from Transferz. We're really talking about the future of scalable support, a shift from legacy tools to AI and AI teammates. So, well, happy that you're all here. I'm here today with Tjerk. So Tjerk is the Chief Quality Officer of Transferz. And my role within the company of DevRev is running the EMEA organization. So again, big welcome to all of the people participating in this nice webinar. So we have a little bit of an agenda today, and we are actually talking about quite a few things. It will be quite practical in all honesty, very operationally focused, and it will also be a good discussion. Yeah, that we will have in this case with Tjerk and the organization, where we will also show a demonstration. So the session will explore how leading companies are shifting from legacy tools to AI teammates. And yeah, I think that is a little bit of a highlight of the agenda. But before I go into Transferz and Tjerk, obviously a little bit more background about the company that I am representing today, which is DevRev. You see potentially two very interesting people that I've worked with in the past as well. They are also part of a former organization, Nutanix, which is today noted on the stock exchange. It was one of the largest tech IPOs in 2016. And the founder of that company, Dheeraj Pandey, started that company in 2008. Became or is still quite famous because of their extremely high NPS scores, which shows a lot about customer obsession and how we want to interact with our customers and partners. But in 2020, he actually decided to start with a new startup organization, which is called DevRev. And the interesting part on that is that the investors behind that company are actually two very familiar venture capitalists. And one of them is Khosla Ventures and the other one is Mayfield Fund. For those that are not aware of these investors, the person behind Khosla Ventures is actually Vinod Khosla, and he was the former founder of Sun Microsystems. He was also one of the first investors into Nutanix, so you can all believe that he had quite a good ride on that one, and is happily investing now into this company, DevRev. So from a historical funding perspective, we have established quite a good amount of money. 100 million was raised in the few initial rounds, and we are proud that we already have a $1 billion valuation. So I will definitely come back on DevRev, but the main emphasis today is of course on Tjerk. So Tjerk, you are representing Transferz, right? And you are the quality officer. So tell us a little bit more about Transferz.
Correct. Thank you very much, Patrick. I'm very happy to be here today because we're going to show you some real impact. Transferz was founded 5 years ago, basically from a need or a pain that the founders saw in booking seamless journeys and seamless travel. Car rental was fixed, flights were fixed, hotels were fixed, and that flow was going pretty well. But then getting from your airport to the hotel was a pain, and it was a very vague process. So we started to develop a solution for pre-booked airport transfers globally. And in those 5 years, we're now serving the biggest travel brands across the globe in facilitating airport transfers. Today, we're doing over 2 million journeys on a yearly basis, and we're hoping to grow since we are at a more than 50% growth rate year on year.
So I see some very interesting logos, right? And those are not only focused on the Netherlands, what I see. So it's really a global operating company.
Correct. Yeah. So we're currently operating at around 1,200 different hubs. So those are airports, seaports, or train stations. But I will tell you more about that, on what that entails, and how we're using your software to make that a little less painful for us.
Very good, man. Thank you for that short introduction. And indeed, you will come back with much more detail. So let's talk a little bit about why bots or agents, how people will also call them. and why, at least to our perspective, summarization of AI, with that is falling a little bit short on that one. So what we are really seeing is that, and of course we are gaining with a lot of experience right now. We entered the EMEA market like 2 years ago, and what we see across the board is that most teams are, most teams across companies are actually adopting bots and are adding AI for summarization. And the undeniable progress, is really that is just a basic understanding of how to use AI. Yeah, DevRev helps or has the ambition to help organizations with the overall AI adoption curve, and not just to add incremental value, but much more important is probably the transformational value, that we want to add, and that is actually one of the outcomes that also Transferz is seeing. So today we see that bots are managing predictable rule-based tasks and can quickly hand off anything complex to humans, for example. But even that can be matured. Yeah, we witness that summarization supports live agents today, and help also to save some time, and that these bots. These bots are really not resolving issues or determining next steps in the process. So all of this, to our understanding, can be really matured. And overall, we see that many organizations where we see a certain level of automation, they do not really see that as intelligence yet. And I think that is also probably the next frontier where DevRev can assist organizations going forward. So it's really how we are going to rethink these few basics understandings. And it all comes down to how we as an organization are looking at AI, and then specifically with teammates, right? So what do we mean by teammates? I would say think of them as digital colleagues that actually never sleep, right? It can be a teammate that is constantly scanning for patterns, or it can be a teammate that is connecting the context across the many tools that are existing within an organization, and that will actually take care of repetitive coordination, repetitive tasks, mundane tasks, etc., etc. So you really would like to deploy as an organization an AI agent, for that repetitive work and that mundane task, that your teams can really elevate themselves and can actually focus on high value interaction. So it's nice to see that actually a company like Transferz is already giving names to its AI agents, right, Tjerk? And I think you are all giving them a female name, correct?
Sort of, yes. Yeah. Indeed, we added 4 new colleagues last year. It's Liam, Noah, Emma, and Sophie. And they are our primary receptionists of tickets. It was really cool to see that indeed those are more predictable in their actions than often human agents are. And think about it as on the labeling of tickets. So is this a customer case that is a complaint? Sometimes a human agent interprets it differently, but the AI agents are quite strict in that sense, and that really helps us with understanding what's happening in our platform and what's happening throughout all of those tickets that we're handling.
Yeah, great. Yeah, we will see a couple of use cases as well that you will actually show live in your production environment, right? So I think that a lot of people on this call will be very anxiously seeing what is happening within the platform itself, and how it will actually elevate not only your people, but also the entire automation process within the company, right? So yeah, that's a little bit more about the teammates, right? And I thought it were actually 4 female agents, but there is one guy within that environment. So that's a good mix, Tjerk. So just one slide on the technology, right? Because I think it was also one of the biggest differentiators that we could provide to you, Tjerk. And as an organization, you are looking here at 3 fundamental and also differentiation parts of the technology that we are providing. So on the left side, everybody can see what we would call computer airsync, which is, and of course, we need to respect that a lot of data is existing in your existing infrastructure and within your environment within the enterprise. Yeah, a lot of tools are potentially in place already to support your organization with either sales or marketing or the support organization itself, or potentially even software engineering. Yeah, all those tools are providing a value for you today, right? But what if you could actually utilize this kind of technology related to computer airsync and make sure that that data actually comes together in what we would call memory, right? Just to stick on the left side for one more minute, because this is really patented technology that we have created actually in Europe, which is also quite nice to understand. Like 5 years ago, when this company was founded, the immediate attention went into solving this big problem. So really to bring in the data in one unified manner, but that it would also still, of course, appreciate the source where it comes from. So companies actually have the opportunity to use it in a bi-directional manner, or you can simply pull and put the data into what we would call indeed the memory, the computer memory layer. So that one is the second part, right? That is really what we see here in the middle. And what it is providing here is really the content. Also, this one is a patented part of technology. It is what we would actually call an AI native knowledge graph. And what it does is it brings really the context of all your data into that system. So it's actually more a living network of data that is built around what matters most to your organization. And that is also where the name DevRev comes together, right? It is really connecting the product, which is the product for the proxy for dev, and then rev stands for customer. So really that combination, bringing customers and products really close together. So the moment when we have that contextual engineering done from a data perspective, we will be able to provide foundational services like search, workflow, and analytics. And this will allow you to actually build AI agents, which can also happen in the platform, in order to really elevate your organization and to provide a unified knowledge center in order to allow AI to work next to yourself within the organization. So with that, it's obviously a lot of very positive results are coming out of that. But Tjerk, for you, the real shift was not really the automation alone, right? You also wanted in your process like clarity for your daily operations. I remember you mentioned to me that you hate surprises, so to get to less surprises, that would be an awesome development. But also like more proactive actions, right, towards your customers. So your overall objective was really to spend more time on more, I would say, more meaningful conversations or customer interactions. So why and how did Transferz bet on all these objectives, right? And do you really feel that it was an ambitious reality?
We were just preparing this webinar, and we came to the conclusion that we wouldn't have never thought what it would result into all the way at start. The only thing that we did know is that AI and the technology itself would solve some of the problems, but the real how, that was really difficult to predict. But that's also the part where we are now extra proud, because that's where we see the real impact taking place. And indeed, on the fewer surprises, yes, I don't like surprises at all. And with this platform, it's much easier to predict where the ticket volumes are coming from, getting those insights, and then allocating the right resources. And indeed, in the past, agents were for 90% working on tickets that were really trivial. And I'm going to show you one example that was previously done by a human agent, allowing the human agents now to focus on adding some real value to the traveler or any of our other stakeholders. And that was indeed a bet. It was a bit of a vision, and we needed some technology for it. And DevRev was a great partner there.
So obviously, when you are scaling the organization, right? Like it's actually on the slide. You might hit
Yeah.
a certain wall, right? Like explain us a little bit that process, how that was, embraced also initially within your organization.
Yeah, so we were previously running on Zendesk, and with the automation tools that Zendesk provided, the workflow builders, but also the AI part, it was really stagnant. The changes that we were applying were not really resulting in anything good, and the flexibility of the platform itself, it also did not allow us to do the things that we wanted to do. And as a result, we were just adding headcounts to the process because that was the only solution. At some point, we had over 80 support agents operative on Zendesk. Of course, that's great from a license base, but it's a very hard process to manage if you have 80 people that you need to train, need to engage, need to skill up, and everything that comes with it. So we were very slow to responses of our customers and our partners in trying to make our processes better. And with a more lean organization, with fewer agents and more automation, that wall is kind of broken through.
That's great. That's great to hear. And yeah, that brings us to also this perspective, like tell us a little bit more about how you are now building it for doing better towards your end customers, right? And also tell me more about the human impact potentially within your organization.
Yeah, so the biggest, I think, cultural shift that we've gone through in the past 6 months is that we have a bias for automation. So anything that comes in as a ticket, we want to automate through an AI agent or a workflow, or avoid the ticket from coming in, also through technology. And then everything that is left, you can basically solve with humans, and then the humans are really adding some actual value to solving those cases. And I think that's also the new way of thinking about customer support. And it's way more rewarding for the teams because they're actually working on tickets that where they can add some value and that they feel they have an impact to any of our stakeholders. And that's great to see. It's also a bit where anxiety comes in a bit because are they able to do it? The agent is asking themselves, can I do it? But we can then spend more time on training because you don't have to train 80 people, but you're training 30 people. So the relative time spent on training is much higher on an agent base. And I think that's where we're really benefiting from. And that's another advantage that we would have never thought of all the way at the start 6 months ago.
Great. Yeah, that are really really good examples of outcomes where and how you are managing that environment, right? So would you say that also when you initially started that people were a little bit afraid of potentially their own job, or would you say that they actually embraced it and saw that they could elevate their own work towards the company from that perspective?
Well, very clearly, they were all very anxious and uncertain about their job security. That's a given, and I think you need to acknowledge that and manage that as well. 6 months down the road, with the group that we are now working with on those tickets, the needle has shifted completely, and they're now really looking forward. They're really coming in with ideas for further automations. Because then they really want to handle the cases that they want to handle. They don't want to handle the nitty-gritty stuff. They want to add some value for travelers. So getting rid of the boring stuff is also in their benefit. And that visor has been clearly set and the perspective has have opened. Yeah.
So the ones that embraced it are actually securing their job, right?
Exactly. Yeah. True.
That's something that I hear much more often, right? Those people that are really afraid, also to work even with AI, those will probably be the ones that will also, be made redundant, right? Because I think we all need to elevate in the way how we are all adopting AI in our daily work and even life balance, right? From that perspective. So
Yeah.
that's good to understand that that is also happening within your organization.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go a little bit more into the process, right? So tell us a little bit more what we are seeing here, because you already indeed identified that you're working both for travel brands and then also alongside with supply partners, right? But it's quite a comprehensive slide, which you might want to explain a little bit more deeper.
Yeah, so there's a lot on there. Basically, what we get is demand from our travel partners. Travel partners such as Klook, Booking, Expedia. They have travelers that need to be transferred from or to an airport. We on the other side of the marketplace have a supply base of over 1,500 transfer companies globally. So those are basically taxi companies in simple terms that execute the ride on our behalf. Then we do that across multiple vehicle types in over 150 countries. And indeed, what I mentioned before, over 1,200 hubs that we operate at. And that's where we kind of operate and bring people to their destination. You can imagine this is creating over 2 million journeys at a yearly basis at the moment. So there's a lot involved in that. So if a passenger has a question up front, during or after their journey, that requires interaction from our operational teams. Because we are responsible for the quality that is delivered on the ground. DevRev is now allowing us to really go deeper on managing the quality management on the ground when executing those journeys. And I think the next slide goes a little bit deeper into this. So our support team is handling, because we have so many demand partners, our support team is handling over 100 different SLAs. So small, different agreements between different demand partners. And previously that was all very nicely stored in Confluence. It still is, but people needed to read through the differences between the different partner types. At a monthly basis, our support team is running or operating, processing 24,000 tickets across 4 different channels, email, phone, WhatsApp, and chat. We have 24/7 live coverage operations. So anywhere in the world, any traveler can call us at any time in any language. And then we have 2 support offices, Bangkok and Cordoba in Argentina, that will cover all of the time zones. And we are operating 4 different stakeholders. So you have a driver, but also their boss, the taxi company. And on the demand side, we have the partner. And of course, we have the traveler. And all of those 4 different stakeholders are contacting us 24,000 times a month.
Yeah, that are the number of tickets, right? That is raised here
Yes,
related to
yeah.
that procession. So yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Because I think you are going to also to provide some insights into those tickets in the demonstration, right? So yeah, let's not wait too much longer. I think the people are quite anxious to understand in your production environment how this actually looks like. So yeah, please guide us through.
I hope they are excited. It's going to be, I think, interesting. So you should now all see my screen.
Let me stop sharing at least, then I am absolutely sure. And then you might share again. Yeah.
So this is DevRev, and this is the way that we've set it up. In very simple terms, what you see on the left-hand side are the vistas, and vistas is a kind of DevRev lingo for filtered views on tickets. Basically, all of our tickets, including the ones from Zendesk previously, are visible in Vista 0. And then at this very moment, tickets came in over here. And these are the ones that are being handled by AI agents. AI agents are reading through them and seeing if they can handle the tickets. Then once they are handed over to human agents, they go into the tier 1 bucket, so T1 unassigned. And the AI agent has also allocated a severity level to the ticket. So if I would be an agent and I'm on shift, then I can pick up the high important ones all the way at the bottom over here. And if I would click the assign to me, then you will see all the tickets that are assigned to me and I can pick them up. So this is the simple view. Now, what I want to show you is a ticket that basically came in February 6th. And this was a question from a partner of ours around a journey of their customer. Basically, it was picked up by an AI agent. Here it's Liam answering the question, and Liam noticed in the email that there's no real booking code, so there's no way to reference that particular journey. There's some screenshots, but what Liam does is, hey, can you please give me the journey code or a reference associated with the booking? Then within a couple of minutes, the partner responded with the journey details, and that allowed Liam to instantly look up the journey details and provide the confirmation here at the bottom with all of the details of that particular journey. And the thing I wanted to show you here is normally writing such an email as here at the bottom, we know that it would take 6 minutes for an agent to write that single email, meaning copy pasting all of the data fields from our back office into the email and then sending it back. 6 minutes per email. What we see today is with the AI agent, and there's no human involved in here. The first email came in at 1:04 p.m. and the last email, and we solved the case at 1:11 p.m. So in 7 minutes, we got this entire transaction handled through AI, where normally one agent would spend 6 minutes on only one single email. And that's
only the email, yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Impact. Yeah, correct. And then what is also cool, on all the events, you can see all the changes that have happened. And again, what I mentioned before is the ticket labeling, which is super important for us, given the high volume of tickets. We know it's right because it's an AI agent labeling this particular ticket. So the contact reason was updated automatically to booking detail confirmation. And these are just some benefits of the platform. Now going further, the question is, how are AI agents really working together with human agents? And over here we have a new ticket that is opened and that is submitted, and this is a Spanish email. Actually, yeah, this is Spanish, but I translated it to, I'll go back to the original.
Which is important, right? Because you're running a multilingual organization. So, yeah.
Yeah, super. Any language we can now handle. And urgente, with a lot of exclamation marks, tells me, even though I'm Dutch and don't speak, my Spanish is not so good. It's probably pretty urgent. So again, here the AI agent has picked up the case. And what is nice, in this case, it was, who was this? I think it was Sophie that picked it up. The initial email contains multiple journey codes. So for AI, it's very difficult to handle multiple cases. But it interpreted that it needed one ticket to handle or one journey code to handle. And that's what the AI agent here is asking for. And everyone that is has my problem with not speaking Spanish so well, you can just easily translate it back to English. And here the AI agent is validating which journey, which booking code it should look into. And that got answered by our partner. And again, here it was answered and handed over to a human agent. And that's where the beauty comes, because the AI agent has already provided all of the necessary details for the human agent. So here you see the journey code. I can directly go to the journey in our back office. I know what kind of actions at the end were taken. So the human agent is set up for success right from the start. It knows what to do. It knows to which journey it needs to go. It knows for which partner it is. So a lot of thinking steps are taken out of the process, allowing the agent to dig in immediately. And what is nice, if you open up a ticket over here, you always have this description on top. This is the latest update of what's being discussed in that ticket chain. And again, this ticket is handled. So in this case, the AI agent has successfully extracted the journey code on the details. But it just gives you a bit more sentiment, a bit more understanding of what's happening, and it allows
it's nice. It's nice to see as well, Tjerk, that the human in the loop is still there, right? Like you determine that as an organization that you still want to have that control mechanism in place. Yeah. But that is a possibility, right?
Correct. Yeah, and what we're building right now is that, for example, if there's a modification request on the journey, so a different pickup time, that we can actually have a button to say, yes, I want to have this modification applied to our back office and communicated to our traveler. And at the moment, we're building those workflows, and they're expected to launch still this month. And then those actual modifications to the journeys can be made by API calls instead of humans typing in the new pickup times. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What is also great is the sentiment. So even during a conversation, the sentiment of the person that we're communicating with can change. And that allows us to speak differently and to try to resolve the case in a different way. Lastly, what is cool is that obviously our stakeholders are communicating with us in very different ways. So at the same journey, a traveler can complain, a driver can complain, and a partner can complain, all throughout very different channels as well. And we have an AI agent running in the back that is instantly and always and at all times collecting all of the related tickets on the same journey all together. So so as an human agent, you can just basically say, okay, hey, the supplier contacted us as well on this journey, or the driver reported the traveler no-show, and the traveler reported the driver no-show. And previously we needed to kind of query the Zendesk database one by one to really understand and get this holistic view on what was happening. And then the beauty is then it's all very clickable, so it's very quick. Here you actually see the conversation between the agent on the partner side and our agent. And in this case, it's WhatsApp that communication is happening as well on that particular.
And this is what I mentioned about the context, right? The context engineering of your data. Yeah, that it basically comes all together in a unified manner that it can actually action itself. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And the panel on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, it's all configurable. So these are all custom fields and attributes that we are using and operating with on a daily basis. Yeah, so the platform as a whole is very configurable and allows us to set it up in the way that we want it. Yeah. Then I think it's time to go over to the last use case. Over here, Ken and I were Tuesday morning reviewing our ticket performance. And what we noticed, and that's what you can see on the chart here, that on Monday, so during the weeks, there's kind of a normal trend on tickets created, tickets closed. That's a ratio that we monitor very closely because that indicates our backlog. On Monday, we had 1.6K, 1,600 different new tickets created versus 629 closed. And that was a peak at that time. So we were like, okay, what's happening? Something is wrong in the platform. We don't know what's happening. So we came up with the idea to ask computer to come up with the root cause or the reason for that ticket spike to be happening. And I need to get this out of the way. So basically what we did is we asked computer, hey, I saw a huge spike in the ticket creation over the past week. What are the key reasons, or do you detect any specific trends at partner level? This is a question that we would normally ask one of our operational analysts, and they would come back with the answer probably after 4 or 5 days. And you can imagine then also the ticket backlog further rising because we're not solving the problem in that meantime. And this is how computer is now taking up that question, and it really helps you through the thinking steps that it's taking. I'm going to stop here and move over to the results because we have the results already. And you can see here that these were the thinking steps it took to answer my question or our question. And what you can see, it clearly picks out a trend of 200% increase on tickets from booking.com, which is quite remarkable. And it also shows you kind of the breakdown of what kind of tickets were causing that uplift. But it really didn't answer like, okay, what's the root cause to this question? So we asked computer, provide me with the actual categories so we can act on these tickets or detect the root causes for the actual increase. And here the real beauty came. So it did, again, some thinking and analysis. And what it delivered over here is what categories is driving booking spike, No show by driver, only 218 tickets. Okay, not so remarkable change. But then over here in the unclassifieds, it detected this is what the real spike was causing, was unclassified tickets. And it even told us, guys, this is the red flag that you need to look into. So we send over, we asked computer to give me 10 examples of those 990 random examples, and we've sent them over to our data team, and our data team are the absolute stars in our platform, who are building all of the AI agents and the workflows. And they detected that Booking.com had changed their email format. Hence, we were not able to detect what kind of tickets reason was behind it. Hence, we were not able to auto-close all of those tickets, which we would normally do. And again, this was a matter of a few minutes that we found, we detected a trend, understood what was behind it, and the data team who's operating our DevRev platform solved it instantly, and backlog was gone.
Yeah.
And that I think also typifies very much about that even with lower agents, there's no risk of having huge problems in your platform because that same technology is helping you to overcome the challenges. I guess we go to my last slides.
So Tjerk, just one question in between, right? Because an increasingly interesting efficiency gain that you are describing here, right? But like, if this would not have been in place, how long would such a process has taken in your organization, do you think? Is that something that you estimate, or?
Well, I think in our previous way of thinking, we would have asked the analyst, okay, tell me what's happening. We might not have even looked into it in so much detail, and we would have just thrown some people at it, change shifts, change priority within the shifts, like going really the pragmatic way from a human perspective. And today we looked at it, okay, how can we solve this from the root? There's data available that tells us exactly what's happening. And like update the workflows instantly with instant impact. So probably my answer would be throwing some humans at it, and today we're using some cleverness, some brains from within the platform.
And then in a few minutes, right? Which is a very interesting operational efficiency gain that you're getting over there. So
and that's not something you measure in ticket handling times, which are often the ratios that customer support leaders are looking at. So customer ticket handling times, they drop, but our overall organization is much quicker on their feet, much leaner, and handle much higher volumes because of that reason. Just to indicate to the audience what we call the from to shift. So since we have implemented DevRev 6 months ago, so only 6 months ago, our auto close rate has reached beyond 40%, and this was 8% in Zendesk. So now we can automatically close 40% of the tickets. Then the 4 agents, the AI agents that we've discussed, they handle more than 50% of the tickets at reception. And then if you look at the human agent level, the agent to ticket ratio has increased from, I think, about 300 to over 1,200 tickets. So we are working with a reduced workforce of 40%, but at an individual human agent level, they're much quicker in terms of responding to emails, automatically translating stuff, getting the right data in front of them. And that also allowed us to bump that agent to ticket ratio so significantly.
Great. Hey, and do you also see that the people that are working also in DevRev, right, are actually coming now to you or Ken with additional potential ideas or use cases how you can further elevate?
All the time, I have to say, Patrick, all the time. Yeah, I think the beauty of DevRev is also because it's a no-code platform also. So, you don't have to write, if you want, you can also write a code, but lots of things you can kind of realize it without a single line of code, right? So they're more inspired and we can actually implement lots of stuff on the same day or very fast time frame. Yeah.
Very good. Very nice to hear. So yeah, we see that automation is not replacing your team to the full extent, right? But it certainly is controlling much more autonomy, and it's actually elevating them to that full extent. So yeah, really strong use cases, Ken and Tjerk. And Ken, I know that you have done a lot of heavy lifting, right, in creating the workflows and all those kind of things. I know that we can talk for hours on that, and actually we can go even deeper in the technology. But yeah, that's probably something for later. By the way, you will also be on the Leadership Circle on the 8th of April, right, in Amsterdam. So yeah, if there are people on the call that are actually able to come into that Amsterdam event, then please register yourself for that, because I'm absolutely sure that both Ken and also Tjerk will be able to explain you much more detail about yeah, their organization and the processes on how they are working with DevRev as a platform. So we are nearing the end of the webinar. So maybe and just pick one, right? There are a couple of reflections here and final takeaways, Tjerk. Like I think we have already understood quite a lot from this perspective, but yeah, like what would be your final takeaway if you look at the reflections from your selection process, for example?
From our selection process, our reflections was that there was a high level of trust, and I think the Nutanix background, EMPS of the MPS that Nutanix had back then gave us a lot of security as well. And in the selection process of all of the different tools that we looked at, I think it was 70 different tools that we assessed. We felt
never heard that, by the way, that people are selecting 70 for initial selection, but yeah, great outcome.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it was the fact that the platform is still in development, but is very much at the forefront of technology, and that we would build together. That's how it felt. That gave us really the confidence that this was the right choice. Yeah, no, very clearly.
Very good. And Ken, maybe a final word from you before we close off?
Well, I think we also have to emphasize the collaboration, the level of collaboration and the commitment we are receiving from you guys, right? I think that was also a big part. The discussion we had was very personalized in terms of company use cases, but also the level of support, level of the communication, also some features back then was missing, but now we have it, and it kind of unblock us onboarding people, automating more cases, and we are now, even today, we are still building more and more automation, right? With the everybody onboarded from the organization. So that was a key kind of differentiator of DevRev from other competitors.
Yeah, we are here not to help customers, right? We really see not only you but organizations out there as partners, because it's for everybody a very new journey, right? And there is a lot of information and knowledge and experience within our company, and of course it's extremely nice to work with yeah, the likes of yourself that are also elevating us as a company to keep developing the platform to the yeah, most ideal situation going forward. So yeah, really appreciate also that input. So yeah, with that we are unfortunately not able to ask any additional questions. But as I just mentioned, right, there are many opportunities to reach out. The team is growing very rapidly, not only in the Netherlands, but certainly across EMEA and Europe. So if there are any questions, then please reach out to the people that are working within DevRev. And I'm absolutely sure that if you want to reach out to Tjerk or Ken via LinkedIn as an example, that they would be very appreciative of your questions, and we'll definitely try to answer them as well. So just a couple of next steps from a facility perspective. There is a recording going to be sent of this webinar to all of your inboxes. And then if you want to do a little bit more of personalization and get a demonstration for yourself, or even have a discussion with our teams, then you can scan through the QR code here, and it will actually bring you to a registration page that you can sign up for. So with that, thank you everyone for the time. I really appreciate that you were here, and looking forward to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.